What's up, everybody? My name is Jack with Patrick and Friends Music Company, and I'm here to give you 3 quick tips on how to improve your practicing. This first tip is knowing how to break things down in a way that's easy to learn. Our brain usually learns things much more efficiently in smaller sized chunks. So let's take something like a paradiddle, for example. A paradiddle is a rudiment that drummers use around the drum kit, and it's a combination of right and left hand stickings. Okay? A paradiddle, a right hand paradiddle, would be right, left, right, right. A left hand paradiddle would be left, right, left, left. Both are paradiddles, just one is starting on the right hand and one is starting on the left hand for a total of 4 notes each. Right, left, right, right. Left, right, left, left. Now, say this is my first time ever hearing of a paradiddle, and I really want to work on getting it ingrained into my muscles and being able to execute it flawlessly every time. Every time I sit down on the drum set, I don't ever want to be worried about not being able to play a paradiddle. The way I would work on that is basically breaking it down into each of its individual parts. We have 4 parts in this, right? First, right hand. Then a left hand, then a right hand, and a right hand again, if we're talking about a right hand paradiddle, okay? So, let's see if I could play a right hand first. Not too bad. What's part 2? Let's see if I can add the left hand to that. I'm doing okay. Let's see if I can add another right hand to that. Not today, Jack. Not today. I played 2 lefts after my second left. So what that means is I need to spend more time playing just the first right and left. And the best way to do that is with a metronome. And the slower you could do it, the better. Because that will really give you time to analyze what you just did and think, was I doing that right? A lot of times we get in the habit of practicing things, and say I'm working on paradiddles right now. I think that was a paradiddle, when it wasn't. We get in this habit of just trying to go for it. You need to stop and ask yourself, was what I was just doing within the parameters of what I'm trying to work on? In my case, I'm trying to be able to play a paradiddle with the correct sticking. But I really didn't give myself any time to think and ask myself, was I going right, left, right, left, left? So this is the importance of doing things slow. All right, so I have my metronome all set up. I have it set to 70 beats per minute, 70 BPM, and it's playing 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how many times in a row I can do right, left, the first 2 notes of our right hand paradiddle, okay? All right, so I think I did a pretty good job. And it was important for me to leave that space in between there, between doing that each of that right left, because like I mentioned, we need to give ourselves time to think, was what I was just doing, was that what I'm trying to accomplish? Did I actually play right left? Were my hands the same volume? Was I doing anything weird with my wrist? All these type of things that you can't really figure out if you're trying to practice it like this. Practicing it at that tempo is fine later on. If you're trying to get it, going at first, you've never played a paradiddle before, I really strongly encourage you to try this method of really playing things slow and making sure that you're learning it right. Because it's really easy to fall into a habit of learning the wrong sticking, and then 3 years later, it's not exactly a paradiddle anymore. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable with that right-left. Let's keep on going. For the sake of time, I'm going to say I already now know how to play my right-hand paradiddle. And maybe I'm having trouble getting into my left-hand paradiddle. So we're going to use the same process. We're just going to add one note at a time. You would go right, left, right, right. There's your right hand paradiddle. Then start adding sticking with the left hand. So right, left, right, right. Maybe left, right. See if you could just get that far. Let's try. So on and so forth, giving you that little space to really think about what you just did, okay? To summarize on that first tip, it's important to give yourself checkpoints when you're breaking things down into smaller chunks. Whether it's a rudiment, or if you're playing a full groove, whether it's, leaving certain limbs out and seeing if you could just do two hands or just making it to beat two or beat one, those type of checkpoints. Then two, when you're doing it with a metronome, because you should do it with a metronome, is giving yourself that little bit of time to think about what you just did, making sure that you're doing what you sat down to practice. The second tip is a quick one. Make sure you give yourself some time to step away from the instrument, take a break. There have been multiple studies done showing how the brain will learn less after the first 30 to 45 minutes of whatever you're working on, if you're working on a musical instrument. So generally, after the first 30 or 45 minutes, it's good to step away, even just for 5 minutes, and kind of get out of the zone for a second, because sometimes you can really go down a rabbit hole and you start to lose sight of what you're even trying to practice in the first place. So just remember to take a break and be wise with your time. This third tip is a fun one, and it's one that I came up with myself. I like to call it the door test. Like the thing you go in and out of, turn a knob. The door test, like the band, The Doors. Okay, let's say that I'm working on a groove, something like this. Something, doesn't have to be exactly that. It could be any sort of groove or a rudiment, really anything in general. This goes for all instruments, not just for drums, okay? Say I've been working on that for about 30 minutes. I'm like, man, I think I got this down. I've been working hard. I feel comfortable playing with it, with the metronome, and I've put in the time, and I feel like I have a grasp on what I'm doing, okay? So here's the kicker. Say you have a gig the next day. You've been working on this beat. Maybe you're working on a groove for a gig or something. Have any of you, or even those who aren't playing gigs, maybe you get up to play something in front of a friend or some family members. You get up ready to play for somebody or outside the comfort of your practice room, and all of a sudden you try and do what you're working on, and it doesn't go the way that you want it to, or something about it bugs you, or you get nervous and, you can't do what you want to do. Well, there's a way to identify whether you have practiced something enough where you're going to succeed when you have to play that groove or idea or anything under higher pressure stakes or outside the comfort of your practice room. So after you've spent the time working on whatever you're working on, step away from the instrument, stand up. And I encourage you, whether you're in your house, an apartment, at school, walk to the farthest door in the building. I'm in my house. I could walk out to my back porch, something like that. Something that will get you away from the instrument for 5-10 minutes or something. And this is kind of like the break idea, but here's part 2 of this. After you've gone and walked to the door, maybe sometimes I like to read emails, or I'll go lay on the floor and talk to my dog.
Crackers, have you practiced your paradiddles today? No? Should have practiced the paradiddles.
You're going to come back to the instrument, and if you've really got a handle on whatever you were just working on, you should be able to sit down and play whatever you were just working on, just like that, right? So if I'm over here, I'm just walking around, I'm getting All right, I was working on my flabberdoodle wadadoodles. Let's hope they come out the way I want them. That was perfect. That's exactly what a flabberdoodle waddle-doodle sounds like. If you're able to sit down and do what you're working on without thinking, just immediately, without having to ease your way into it, without having to turn on the metronome first and like get the right foot going first and put everything in over time, then you're in good shape. I think you've spent a good amount of time on what you're working on. Of course, we could practice anything and everything for the rest of our lives, which is part of the fun of it. But we could probably use our time working on something else that we're deficient in. For the time being, we got a good handle on what we're working on. So those are our 3 tips on how to more efficiently use our time while practicing. I hope they help you. Comment below and let us know if you have any really cool practice tips. And let us know if you have any questions about these. We'd be more than happy to help you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon page. This is Jack. I'll catch you next time. I'm going to leave you with some paradiddle doodles.